Welcome to Texas Motor Speedway. This is Short Shift Broadcasting. My name is Mark, and we are here tonight for the Blown Pistons Friday Night Truck Series, Round 8 in their championship at the Texas Motor Speedway. We'll be going into the night during this race, and we are currently watching the final few minutes of the practice session tick away. It looks like pretty much everybody is off track right now, unfortunately. But it looks like Adam Patet is the quickest guy in the practice session. And if you look further down the field, it looks like pretty much all 24 drivers that have been in practice have been no. Let me correct that. 23 drivers have been within 1 second of each other, and the only one that hasn't been is David Anderson, but he looks like he's a late entry and just got started here. So Adam Patet is quickest so far. It's Avery Wilson second and Andrew Mraz in third. It's been 2 weeks since we talked to each other with the Blown Piston series for the trucks on Friday night. We were in Monza last time, the old speedway on that Italian circuit famous for the Grand Prix races. In Monza, we saw Randy Bledsoe win it in front of Jordan Berry and Kurt Rittenberg. We have quite a big field today, and let's show you really quickly the championship standings for the series as we are starting into this race. It's Mike Perry in front with 319 points. Then it's Andrew Moore Jr., Pondo Co., Jason Branch, Jackson Allen, Ryan Nicoletta, Scott Wise, Kevin Nicoletta, Adam Patet, David Dolliver, Casey Duncan, Randy Perdue, Randy Bledsoe, Waylon McConnell, and Jordan Berry is your top 15 drivers in the series currently. So we are waiting for a few minutes to get qualifying underway, and let's check some information on our track and race tonight. The Texas Motor Speedway is located in Fort Worth, Texas, just north of the city. It's on I-35 West there, right by the airport of Fort Worth. The track is 1.5 miles long, and current ambient temperature is 65 degrees Fahrenheit. We have a relative humidity of only 36%, which is low for Texas. We have a partly cloudy sky and only 5 miles an hour winds. That should not hurt these drivers all that much. The track temperature is shown as 67 degrees Fahrenheit, which is very low considering it's been a sunny day. So the track temperature is not going to give them too much trouble. Our feature race tonight here will be 100 laps, and stages will end at lap 30 for the first stage, lap 60 for the second stage, and then the final stage, obviously, at the finish of the race. So drivers will be able to pick up some extra points on lap 30 and 60 if they're in the head of the field. Not very many points, but sometimes it makes a difference, and sometimes it could just be those few points that you need at the end of the season. So we see a few guys going out here. This is Andrew Mraz, and one of the things I've noticed during practice is that there's quite a few guys that run into trouble on the exit of turn 2. When they're coming off right here off of turn 2, they tend to run a little wide and scrape that outside wall there in turn 2. So we'll have to watch for that during the race. So there's Jordan Berry, came to a stop on track here. Final 30 seconds ticking away for the practice session with Andrew Mraz, the third place driver currently, still on track in the 028 car here. Last time's winner, Monza winner, Randy Bledsoe in the 81 car. And let's see if we have anybody else out there. Eric Miller is out there. And you can see in the distance that the sun is starting to set here around the Texas Motor Speedway. It looks to me like the lights have already been turned on. So we're going to have a fun night of racing here at the 1.5 mile D-shaped oval here in Fort Worth, Texas. And it looks like we're getting ready to qualify currently. So let's bring up that and see if we can find anybody going out on track. We can see pretty much everybody we choose to see, but the drivers cannot see each other because it's individual qualifying. And here we have Eric Miller in the 05 taken out to the track as the first one on the track, it looks like. 2 laps, best lap counts for the grid. And let's see what Eric here can do in the 05 machine. Coming up to speed. He's going to take the green flag here. And coming off turn 2, trouble spot during practice. We see them, and exactly as we talk about it, we see the 05 get into trouble, running a little bit high on that exit of turn 2, scraping the wall and getting himself into trouble. Let's take a look at Matt Miller here. I'm not sure if they're related, but I'm guessing so, in the 78 car. And he puts it on the provisional pole for now with a 30.3. And it looks like Kevin Nicoletta has posted the second time. Avery Wilson is third. And same thing, coming off of turn 2, getting into trouble. And that'll disallow the time of this lap. Ponoko in 5th. Jeremy Rittenberg is in 7th. Kurt Rittenberg is in 10th. And I'm not sure if they're related either, but it kind of looks like family affair here tonight. And Brian Rainville in the 60 car, he posted a 30.24, currently in 4th position. It's Matt Miller still on that provisional pole. He improved his time by 0.2 of a second, almost 3, and he is hanging on to that provisional pole. Let's see if we can find some other guys. Kurt Rittenberg has pushed himself up to the 2nd spot now. Andrew Mraz is in 3rd. And then it's Indiana Wise, Scott Wise, as we also know him, in the 5th position. Jason Branch, and it looks like Randy Perdue has taken over that 2nd position from Rittenberg. Brian Rainville, let's see if he's still out there. And Randy Perdue coming back into the pits, it looks like. Indiana Wise just coming to a stop there. Andrew Morse, 9th in the Pennzoil car. Then we have David Dolliver. Looks like he's still out running. He's got 1 lap in. Let's see if his 2nd lap is going to make an improvement here. Yes, indeed. He takes a 10th off his time, and that puts him in the 15th spot currently. And let's see here. We have Casey Duncan in the Target car. The only driver here, literally with a target on his back. And he is currently in the 17th position. And that was his first lap, so I'm not really sure if he has another one to go. He may have scraped the wall in that 2nd lap, and time for that would be disallowed. There we have Donald Stewart in the 25th position in the 016 car. And it looks like he's on his 2nd. And that gets you in trouble. Getting on that apron gets you in trouble, and his 2nd lap is most certainly not going to be quicker than his 1st. There you have it. It loses him pretty much a second. So that's pretty much it. Everybody's been out there. And there's a few things we can let you in on. We are in the last minute of qualifying. The drivers for the race have a 50% fuel capacity, which means that we'll have shorter fuel stints than in reality. It's a fixed setup race, meaning that the drivers only have, they all have the same car, and the only thing they can play with is the brake bias. The brake bias is the difference between the brake pressure in the front and in the rear. You can adjust that while you're driving. Brake bias a little further to the rear can sometimes help the drivers get the car to rotate into the turns. There's not very many people that do it on these big ovals, but some guys do it. Then the guys have a fast repair, one only for the race. Fast repair means that when there's any damage to the car, they can go into the pits. It'll be instantly repaired. except obviously for fuel and tires. That will take its normal course in time. The fast repair is only once, so after that, when they have an issue, that is going to take them longer to repair, obviously. All right, qualifying has finished. Let's take a look here at our grid and see if they're already gridding up here. They should be in the pit lane. There we go. They're getting ready to get started here. Parked in the pit lane. On the pole, we have Matt Miller. And alongside him, it'll be Randy Perdue. Then on the second row, it will be Kurt Rittenberg and Andrew Mraz. Then on the third row, it'll be Indiana Wise and Jason Branch. It'll be Donnie Fayer and Brian Rainville on the fourth row. Fifth row will be for Andrew Moore Jr. and Ryan Nicoletta. Sixth row, Kevin Nicoletta and Mike Perry. And then we have the seventh row for Jordan Berry and Randy Bledsoe. The eighth row for Pondo Coe and Sean Dias. The ninth row for Avery Wilson and David Dolliber. And the 10th row is for Eric Miller and Jeremy Rittenberg. And then we have the 11th row for Adam Patet and David Anderson. And then the 12th row is for Casey Duncan and Jason Nicholas. And that brings us to the 13th row with Donald Stewart and Roger Matthias. And on the final position, you see Lauren Wise mentioned. She is our race administrator. She was in practice. We did not see her on the track, but she will most likely not take the start. So we're waiting for the guys to grid up here. And I believe we are still waiting for Roger Matthias. And that's him. He's looks like he's going to start from the pit lane. And the fact that his car is wide tells me that there's a little bit of a delay for the paint jobs to load up. That'll sort itself out, I'm fairly sure. There we go. We're rolling off the pit lane. It's Matt Miller in front. It's Randy Perdue in the second spot. Kurt Rittenberg in the third. Andrew Mraz is in fourth. Indiana Wise is in fifth. There you have him in the 31 car with the national paint job there. Donnie Fair is in seventh, and then Brian Rainville is in eighth, Andrew Moore in ninth, and Ryan Nicoletta in the 10th spot. That's your top 10 here. Cars are coming up on the track behind the truck here, and they're lining them up double file. We're going to go racing when we get off of turn 3 and 4. 100 laps tonight. And as I said, the first stage will end at lap 30, and the second stage will end at lap 60. This series does not go yellow for the stages, so we'll try to keep an eye on it for you. And there we come off of turn 4. It's Matt Miller in front here, waiting for the call. There we go. We are racing in Texas for the 8th round of the Blown Piston Series, and it looks like Randy Perdue has a good start on that higher side, challenging Miller on the outside. The 028 seems to be coming along with him. That's Andrew Mraz. Are we going to go 3 wide on the exit of 2? No, not quite. Oh, big crowd of cars here. Oh, big jump for Matt Miller now, taking the lead here in turn 3. Randy Perdue in second now. Kurt Rittenberg has come past Andrew Mraz on that inside line in the 0-0 car. He's picked up third position in front of Mraz and Indiana Wise, and Donnie Fair is in sixth. We have one guy coming out of the pits, and I'm fairly sure that would be Roger Matthias. And look at the 028 coming out of line, see if he can do anything, but he thinks the better of it and washes up a little bit, and it looks like Indiana Wise can close in on him a little bit. Now it's the 28 going low on the 00. I think I had him mixed up there. And it's Andrew Mraz picking up that third position, and it looks like we have Brian Rainville in the 60 car challenging the 00 as well. Then it's Indiana Wise in the 6th position, Jason Branch in the Navy car here on the lower side in 7th position. He's right alongside Donnie Fair here in the number 10 car with that flaming beautiful paint job. Matt Miller out in front. It looks like he's getting fairly clear of Randy Perdue. Randy Perdue still has Andrew Mraz to worry about here. Coming off of turn 2, it looks like they're all being careful and staying away from that wall right now. We've seen plenty of people. Ooh, and then further back, there's a bunch of guys together here. And that starts with the number 60 of Rainville. Indiana Wise gets underneath him now into 31. Then it's Brian Rainville, Jason Branch, Andrew Moore in the Pennzoil car, and Mike Perry hanging on with those guys. Up at the front, it's still Matt Miller. He is in control currently. He's got a couple of car lengths on Randy Perdue, and Andrew Mraz is about a car length behind Perdue here in 3rd. Then there's a little bit of a gap to Kurt Rittenberg in the 00 car. Indiana Wise is leading the rest of the pack here, followed by Jason Branch, Brian Rainville, Andrew Moore, Mike Perry, and Jordan Berry in the number 7 car. Indiana Wise here leading that big group. And that's a huge group that goes all the way back to, I believe, Pondo Co is in there, Jordan Berry, Avery Wilson is hanging in there as well. Big group of cars here. Let's go check back up front here, because it looks like Randy Perdue is going to be coming under pressure of Andrew Mraz here. Mraz brings it to the bottom in the tri-oval, gets that nose alongside the 29. Can he do anything in turn 1? It looks like he's coming down low, and he looks very strong on that lower side. The higher side doesn't look like it's got the grip yet. It's not rubbered in, and Andrew Mraz takes that 2nd position away from Randy Perdue. But he's not giving up just yet. He's hanging in there with him, and it looks like Mraz seems to be inching away from him towards the leader, Matt Miller there. Kurt Rittenberg seems to be catching up with these guys, and then it's Indiana Wise who still has that big train of cars behind him. Now it's Jason Branch right behind him, followed by Andrew Moore in the Pennzoil car, and Mike Perry is in 8th. Let's check up on your leaders here, because Andrew Mraz has closed the gap to Matt Miller, and he is looking to put some pressure on the 78 car now. Lap 8 of 100. These guys are showing they mean business from the get-go here. It's Randy Perdue dropping back a little bit now, and it looks like Kurt Rittenberg is catching up to Randy Perdue, and we're expecting him to start challenging him for 3rd position. And it looks like Jason Branch has taken over the 5th position from Indiana Wise. And Indiana is also coming under pressure from Andrew Moore now on the inside. He's taken away that 6th position from him. And Mike Perry is right there with these guys, trying to stick with them on the lower side and getting underneath Indiana Wise as well. Let's check back up front. It looks like Andrew Mraz is settling in now behind Matt Miller. Maybe they're going to try to work together and put some distance on the guys behind him. Kurt Rittenberg has overtaken Randy Perdue, and we can see if we can find that situation back. There we go. It's in the tri-oval. He comes on the inside coming off of turn 4, and he takes that position away from Randy Perdue. And you're back out live. Kurt Rittenberg still has Randy Perdue right on his tail there. Jason Branch and Andrew Moore and Mike Perry have passed Indiana Wise in that bigger group here, and it looks like they are gaining rapidly on the leaders. So that's Jason Branch that's catching up with Randy Perdue in the black car in front of him, the 29 here. And Kurt Rittenberg is not getting clear of Perdue all that easy, and it looks like he is about, let's see here, Rittenberg is about a 2nd behind Matt Miller. And it's Andrew Mraz that's taken over the lead. Let's see if we can find that real quick. No, that's too... There we go, there we go. They're coming off turn 4. It looks like Miraz is quicker off of turn 4, gets underneath the 78, and he takes that position away from him going into 1. Back out live. There we go. It's Miraz still in front. Matt Miller is now in the 2nd spot. Kurt Rittenberg still in 3rd. Jason Branch has now caught up with Randy Perdue, and he is making sure that he knows that he's there to do some business. Jason Branch picks up the 4th position from Randy Perdue, who's kind of caught out on that high side here. Andrew Moore is going to tug right in behind Jason Branch and come along with him underneath the 29 now, going into turn 1. And it looks like the Pennzoil car is getting ahead of Perdue. And it looks like Mike Perry is coming along with the Pennzoil car as well, going underneath to 29, and he is going to pick up that 6th spot. Oh, it looks like the 29 still noses it ahead, but it's Mike Perry on the inside. And they're coming back into the tri-oval here, still side by side. Perdue is not giving up, but into turn 1, it looks like the number 2 is getting ahead of him now. That puts Randy Perdue back down in 7th position. So he's having trouble keeping up. I'm not sure if he maybe asked a little bit too much of his tires. Meanwhile, up front here, it's Matt Miller challenging Miraz for the lead once again. And it looks like Kurt Rittenberg is gaining on these guys as well. And that's what happens when you start fighting each other. You're going to slow each other down, and that is almost always going to cause somebody behind you that's running by himself. He's going to catch up, and that's exactly what Rittenberg is doing. Matt Miller picks that lead back up from Andrew Miraz on the backstretch here, going into turn 3. And it looks like Miraz is tugging in behind there, maybe understanding that they should be working together a little bit at this stage in the race. Rittenberg seems to be catching up with them. And let's check back here a little bit further back. It's Jason Branch now 1.2 seconds behind. Ooh, and we have a yellow. Let's see if we can find out what happened. Ooh, that looks like Randy Bledsoe got into major trouble here. Let's see what's going on. The target car and Bledsoe. The target car is Casey Duncan. They got together, and the 81 of Bledsoe hard into the wall. And let's bring it back a little bit further here. It looks like Bledsoe is coming off that turn really well, getting underneath the target car in the tri-oval. The target car was not aware of that, and they touched, and it caused the Bledsoe to go pretty much head on into the wall, and that's going to be some major damage. But like I said, we have that faster repair, and that's exactly what you need it for. The fact that you still see him sitting there is that he's waiting on the tow to be finished. The iRacing calculates time for the tow back into the pit, so that's why he is sitting there with nothing happening. All right, let's go back to the front of the pack here. It looks like we see everybody coming in. We are on lap 18, and I guess pretty much everybody is ready for some new rubber already, and that was kind of getting obvious with some people dropping back, like Randy Perdue here, dropped back to 3rd position, and Indiana Wise has dropped back to 8th position, so hopefully new rubber will reset that stuff for them. And let's see, the guys in the back there are already in their pits. Now it's Matt Miller in the first pit, and looks like Randy Perdue in the second pit there. Let's see who we see coming off first. And it looks like, it looks like Andrew Miraz had a good pit stop. He picks up the lead coming off of pit road, and Kurt Rittenberg picks up 2nd position from Matt Miller coming off pit road. So Matt Miller had a little bit of an issue in the pit there maybe. Every once in a while, iRacing will tell you that a wheel nut is stuck, and they'll calculate a little bit of extra time. But it could also be that it wasn't situated perfectly in the pits. If you don't get it parked in the exact right spot, that's going to cost you a little bit of time as well. So we see Jason Branch in fourth now. He holds that position. He already worked his way up there before the green flag flew. Then we see Andrew Moore in the yellow Pennzoil car. And we see Roger Matthias, and I'm fairly sure Roger stayed out, and he's going in now. He started from the pit lane. He's most likely already a lap behind, and that's why he's pitting now. And we see some more guys in the background there. Looks like, let me see. We have Pondoko coming into the pits, it looked like. And we have Casey Duncan in the pit. He obviously had some damage from that incident as well. Roger Matthias here, and then let's see. Oops, wrong button. That is Pondoko in the pit lane. He is shown in the 22nd now, 22nd position. I apologize, getting ahead of myself again. There's Andrew Mraz leading the pack, right in front of Kurt Rittenberg. So the numbers 1 and 2 came off pit road really well here. And then ahead of him, we see the number 41. Is that the 41? That's the 17. No, that was the 41. That's Kevin Nicoletta. So he's almost a lap down. He'll get the wave around before we go green. The lights on the pace car are still on. And actually, looks like Kevin is staying out there. He's already pitted on lap 16, so he was a little earlier than the rest of them pitting, and he'll be able to catch up to the tail end of the field, and he'll stay on the lead lap that way. So Mraz, Rittenberg, and then Miller, who dropped 2 spots with his pit stop. Not sure why, but it kind of looked like he just didn't put himself in that box correctly. Maybe a wheel nut that got jammed every once in a while, just for giggles. iRacing will throw you throw a wrench in that pit stop for you. That's reality for you there. And then Jason Branch in the Navy car is in the 4th spot. Andrew Moore is in 5th in the number 77. It's Avery Wilson in 18th. In the 18th, he is in 6th position. And that means Avery did good business on that pit stop as well. And Indiana Wise is in the 7th position. It's Jordan Berry in the 7 car in 8th. And it's Wilson seems to be dropping back all of a sudden. What's going on? Oh, there might be a connection issue with that car. Yeah, there might be a connection issue with that car. And 9th spot is the 011 for David Anderson, and then it's Mike Perry in 10th. That's your top 10. And the pace car lights are still on. Let's ride along with your leader here. And I think we're coming down the tri-oval here, so we should be seeing those lights on the pace car being turned off, and the 41 gets that wave around. There you have it. It's happening as we speak, and the lights on the pace car should be off. The cars will be lining up side by side, and we'll be racing once again, going into lap 23 when the green flag flies. And Andrew Mraz has opted to take the outside line. He can do that, and I've seen him do that before. So I'm always kind of interesting to me. You would think that on the start, when you're not at top speed, you would think that the inside line would be the best line to be, but some drivers choose different. Rittenberg in 2nd, and he's on that inside line now. Branch in 3rd, Matt Miller in the blue car. pace truck will be going low. There he goes. And it's up to Andrew Morass to get this thing back underway, and there we go.
Green flag, green flag.
It looks like Morass has a pretty good jump on the other guys here, with Jason Branch having a good jump on Rittenberg as well. And he is fighting for the second position already. It looks like Matt Miller dropped back a little bit from these guys, and then it's Andrew Moore. Rittenberg holds on to that second position on the inside line. The Navy car is high there. That's Jason Branch challenging him for that second spot. Andrew Morass is already half a second gone. The 00 is hanging on to that spot, and now it's Matt Miller hanging with him. The Pennzoil car closing in as well. Ooh, and we have an issue there that looks like Mike Perry, and I cannot. No, that was not Mike Perry. That was Avery Wilson, and will you believe it or not, saved it from going into the wall. Isn't that beautiful? Let's take another look at that. The number 18 car, keep an eye on that one. That's Avery Wilson, gets a little tap from the Pennzoil car and saves it. That is amazing. Good, that's good skill. Andrew Morass is out in front by 0.6 of a second, almost 7 already. Kurt Rittenberg is hanging on to that second position, and it's Jason Branch and Matt Miller on his tail. It looks like Andrew Moore wants a piece of that as well. It's a group of 4 cars here fighting for that second position. Then it's Mike Perry and Jordan Berry fighting for the 6th and 7th position here, with David Anderson close behind, Jeremy Rittenberg in 9th, Eric Miller in 10th, and Indiana Wise has dropped back to the 11th spot now. Kurt Rittenberg hanging on to that second spot. Jason Branch and Matt Miller behind him. Andrew Moore in the Pennzoil car. That's a group of 4 drivers here chasing Morass. Rittenberg is hanging on to it right now. And it looks like Branch is following pretty good. And Morass's advantage is evaporating just a little bit now. Not too much, but it looks like he is dropping back to about 5/10 of a second ahead instead of 6. So the guys in the little train behind him are gaining a little bit. Actually, it's going a little bit more rapid now. They're reeling him in. And it looks like Branch is running a little bit high here, and it allows Miller to get inside. Down the backstretch into turn 3. He might be able to. Oh, no, he's tugging right in behind that 22 car. Andrew Moore is right behind him in 5th. It's Mike Perry that's finding the connection with these guys in 7th. And in 6th, I'm sorry, and that means that he's gotten away from Jordan Berry by just a little bit, and Berry has David Anderson to worry about now in the 011 car. Morass is still leading, but the advantage is coming down. They're reeling him in. It's Kurt Rittenberg that's gotten away from Jason Branch now, and it looks like Rittenberg is going to be challenging for that lead. Jason Branch is in 3rd. Matt Miller is challenging Branch. Into the tri-oval, that nose is right underneath there, and now into turn 1. He's going to pick up that position, it looks like. It's Matt Miller in 3rd now, and it looks like Jason Branch is coming back underneath him to take it back. Nope, can't do it. Andrew Moore is hanging on there. Mike Perry is behind him. It looks like Jordan Berry is catching up with that group. And he's going to be clinging on to Mike Perry here, and that's still in the 7th position, but he's closed that gap. Let's bring her back up to Matt Miller here. Matt Miller seems to be walking away from Jason Branch a little bit now, and up front it's Kurt Rittenberg that is still trying to reel in Andrew Morass. He's doing so, but little by little, it's not going very quickly. Matt Miller in 3rd. Looks like Matt is now going to be gaining on Rittenberg there. And Jason Branch being threatened here by the 77 of Andrew Moore. The Pennzoil car is coming underneath the Navy car here. And that brings him on the backstretch side by side. Can Mike Perry come along with the Pennzoil car into turn 3? And it looks like Andrew Moore picks up that 4th position, and it looks also like Mike Perry is coming underneath Branch there as well. Once you're on that high side, it looks to me like there's just a lot less grip on that higher line, and once you get caught out on that higher line, it's going to cost you. And that's what's happening to Jason Branch. Mike Perry has taken that position from him. Now it's Jordan Berry trying to do the same, but he's tugging in behind Branch. Let's bring her back up front here. Kurt Rittenberg is reeling in Andrew Mraz. It's only 0.2 of a second now, and that's not much. And Matt Miller is trying to get on that rear bumper of Rittenberg as well. It's Moore now in the 4th position. It's Mike Perry in 5th. Jason Branch has dropped to the 6th spot, and he's holding off Jordan Berry and David Anderson. Indiana Wise has picked up another spot. He is now running in 10th, and it looks like he's running away from Adam Patet. Let's bring her back up front once again. It's Andrew Mraz, Kurt Rittenberg, and Matt Miller into the tri-oval, the top 3 here. And we're talking lap 35, so we've already finished that first stage. We were just too busy looking at lap 30 and seeing who picked up that extra point. Now it looks like Kurt Rittenberg is meaning business here. Ooh, he gets a little bit drifty there. And Mraz is closing the door on him. And that makes it a little easier for Matt Miller to catch up to the 00. He gets underneath. And it's that easy to just lose a position here. Just a little bit of a wiggle, getting off balance, and there you go. Matt Miller picks up the 2nd spot. Kurt Rittenberg in 3rd, now coming under pressure from Andrew Moore and Mike Perry. Then there's a little bit of a gap to Jason Branch, and then another little gap to Berry and Anderson. Anderson now getting on the bottom of Berry. Picks up that 7th position from Jordan Berry. Mraz is hanging on to that lead by 0.2 of a second. It's Miller now trying to get behind him, and it looks like Andrew Moore is trying to get underneath that 00. Is that 00 damaged on the right side? Did he scrape the wall somewhere? I can't really tell from this camera angle. Maybe the closer up. It's difficult to tell. Maybe we can see it here. It's hard to tell. No, I don't believe so. So Moore is picked up 3rd position. Mike Perry has picked up 4th, and Perry has dropped back to 5th position. And it does look to me like if you're fighting very hard at the beginning of this green flag stint, you're going to eat up those tires pretty quickly, and you're going to look out. Once you get on that high side, there's no grip, and it looks like people that get caught out on that high side just drop back 2, 3, 4 positions right away. David Anderson still in 7th with Jordan Berry in 8th. Then it's Jeremy Rittenberg in 9th, and Indiana Wise is in this group here, fighting for that 10th position. He's got Adam Patet running right there with him in the green and black car. And then it's Sean Dias in the 87 car, up high. I'm sorry, in the blue 87, he was low. Now he's going high, and now it looks like Avery Wilson is coming underneath the 87. And still, it is Indiana Wise here in the lead of this group with the 57 of Adam Patet right alongside. He's hanging on to that 10th spot. It's a big group of cars here trying to advance themselves. Let's go check on the leaders, and it's Andrew Moore challenging Matt Miller for the 2nd spot, and it looks like he takes it away from him. Mraz is still in the lead. He's gained a little again. Matt Miller now in 3rd, and Mike Perry in 4th. Kurt Rittenberg is hanging on for dear life here with this group. He's in 5th position, and it looks like Jason Branch is kind of running by himself here after he got wide on those laps a couple of laps ago. dropped back quite a few positions to 7th, and it looks like he's trying to hang on to that here. It looks like Jordan Berry and David Anderson are still duking it out for 7th and 8th. Little bit of a gap between him, and then it's Jeremy Rittenberg that seems to be closing in on Berry. Mraz is still in the lead. It's Andrew Moore in 2nd. Hanging on to that 2nd spot here from Matt Miller and Mike Perry. Mike Perry now challenging Matt Miller on the inside. Turn 3, and he picks that position up pretty easy, I will say. I'm kind of thinking Matt Miller is just trying to be careful here. Kurt Rittenberg is now right behind him into 00. And we have a driver going into the pits. That's Jeremy Rittenberg. Not sure what happened to him. Ryan Nicoletta into the pits. Brian Rainville has already been in the pits. We are on lap 43. And I must admit that I'm not exactly sure what the fuel window is, but I'm kind of thinking, you know, we 20 laps for fuel windows should be a little bit short, I would say. So, but maybe they're just wanting new rubber and having trouble keeping that car on the track where they want it to be. It looks like Mike Perry is challenging Andrew Moore now for 2nd position. And it looks like Andrew Moore is also heading towards pit lane, trying to get some new tires. So I'm kind of guessing we're looking at green flag stops here. Mraz now coming into the pits, and that means that Mike Perry picks up the lead, and Adam Patet picks up 2nd position. Sean Dias 3rd, and Avery Wilson picks up the 4th spot. And Mraz, Miller, Branch, Anderson, Moore, Eric Miller, Matthias, Nicholas, all in the pits here. Let's see if we can find Mraz. There he is in the 3rd spot in the white and orange car. Matt Miller in the 1st box here. Green flag pit stop will always is always interesting, because now it really counts how fast you're going in and how fast you're going out. And once again, it looks like Mraz is coming off pit road very quickly. Mike Perry is now also in the pit a lap later than the leaders. That means that Donald Stewart in the 016 picks up the lead. Mraz is shown in 9th or 10th, and it looks like Rittenberg has come out ahead of him. Rittenberg pitted on lap 43. Mraz pitted a lap later, so Rittenberg has gained the position on Mraz by pitting a lap earlier. That is interesting to see. And Mike Perry comes out of the pits, and there you see Rittenberg and Mraz going by him. So Kurt Rittenberg hangs on to that lead with Mraz in 2nd. Perry hangs on to 3rd. Jason Branch is in 4th, and he's got Matt Miller on his inside right now. Ooh, the 78 gets one wheel on that apron. Got to be careful with that. It looks like Matt Miller picks up that 5th position. Donald Stewart is now going into pits, dropping down the order. It's Jeremy Rittenberg now in 6th, and he was one of the first ones to pit, so it looks like early pitters having a bit of an advantage here. It's Andrew Moore and David Anderson. Moore seems to have dropped back a little with that pit stop to the 7th spot. Jordan Berry is in 9th. Kevin Nicoletta is in 10th. So let's bring her back up to the front here. Kurt Rittenberg is hanging on to that lead in front of Andrew Mraz, and there's about 0.3 of a second between these guys. A little bit further back, it's Mike Perry in 3rd with Matt Miller behind him and Jason Branch. Then there's a bit of a gap to Jeremy Rittenberg, and Andrew Moore seems to be dropping back a little bit as well, and he's got David Anderson to worry about now. That's for 7th and 8th position. It's Jordan Berry in 9th, and it looks like Anderson takes that 7th position away from Andrew Moore fairly easy. Look at the gap already. So Rittenberg is still in the lead, but Mraz has already closed the gap here. And it looks like Mraz is very strong. Coming off turn 2, he's going to the inside. He's got that nose ahead, well, not ahead, but on the inside, and it looks into turn 3. He picks up that lead once again, and Rittenberg is just playing it safe and tugging in behind him. Mraz is now the leader, lap 50. We're halfway into this race, 10 more laps for the second stage. Andrew Mraz in the 028 is your leader. Kurt Rittenberg is in the second spot. A little bit further back, we have Mike Perry, Matt Miller, and Jason Branch, all three together here. That's third, fourth, and fifth. Jeremy Rittenberg is a little bit further behind in the 26, and David Anderson seems to be gaining on him. Jordan Berry has picked up that 8th position from Andrew Moore. Andrew Moore seems to be struggling a little bit since that pit stop. And your leader, Andrew Mraz, looks like he's walking away very slightly from Kurt Rittenberg. Let's ride along with Kurt here for a moment. Into the tri-oval, and you can see the hands of Rittenberg being fairly smooth and easy on the wheel. That means he's really not fighting the car all that hard. Looks very good, looks very solid. That's Kurt Rittenberg you were riding along with, and he's chasing Andrew Mraz here in the 028. Mike Perry looks like Mike is catching up with him and leaving Matt behind in the process. Jason Branch dropping back a little bit from Miller as well. David Anderson has passed Jeremy Rittenberg. Jordan Berry is in 8th. Andrew Moore has dropped to 9th. Eric Miller in the 05 is in the 10th spot. And let's go see a little bit further back. Avery Wilson in 11th, Adam Patet in 12th, Kevin Nicoletta and Ryan Nicoletta. And then it's Pondo Co. Randy Perdue has dropped back quite a bit here. He survived that heavy crash in the beginning. Indiana Wise is closing in on him. That's for 16th and 17th position. Not quite close enough. Then it's Sean Dias, David Dolliver, it's Donald Stewart, Jason Nicholas, and then we have Brian Rainville, Randy Bledsoe, Roger Matthias, and Casey Duncan is in the 26th spot. Donnie Fayer is out of the race. Let's go back to the lead here because things are closing in on each other. Mraz and Kurt Rittenberg still about 0.3 of a second, but it looks like Mike Perry is coming in and closing in on Kurt Rittenberg here for that second position. Mike Perry, your leader in the championship currently, picks up that second spot, and he looks like he's leaving Rittenberg behind. Matt Miller has also come by the 00 car here. It makes you wonder if they're not asking too much of those tires in the early part of the stage. Lap 56. We're getting close to that second stage of lap 60. Andrew Mraz is still in the lead. Mike Perry is in the second spot. Matt Miller in third. Kurt Rittenberg seems to be struggling a little bit more than when he first came out of the pit. Jason Branch in fifth. David Anderson, Jeremy Rittenberg, and Jordan Berry. Let's stay here with Mraz for a little bit. And that's what it looks like from the back end of his car. That's Mike Perry you're looking at. Both of them looking very smooth and very strong. There's 0.3 of a second between there. That's about a car length. It looks like Perry is closing in, surely. Yes, indeed. He's closing in that Silverado there. And let's see how that looks from the outside. That's on the back stretch here. Perry has closed that gap to Mraz, and it looks like Matt Miller is not able to stay with him, and the same is true for Rittenberg and Branch. So let's see if Mike Perry can make anything happen here. He's tugging in right behind the rear end of that 028. And coming down the back stretch, back markers are going to be coming in front of him pretty soon. Looks like Mike Perry is very strong behind that 028 car, looking for an opportunity, looking for that moment when the 028 runs a little bit wide or runs over a couple of bumps and gets it sideways a little bit, trying to take advantage of any mistake he can find. Right now they're just staying together. Now there you go. Mike Perry puts that nose alongside the 028, challenging for the lead into turn 3. Miraz is looking fairly strong on that high side right now, but it's Mike Perry inching ahead of him, and it looks like Mike Perry picks up the lead when we finish lap 60, so he picks up that second stage win. Perry in the lead, Miraz in second, Matt Miller hanging on to third, Jason Branch in fourth, David Anderson in fifth, Jeremy Rittenberg in front of Jordan Berry. Andrew Moore is in 8th, Avery Wilson in 9th, and 10th is Adam Patat in the 57 car. There's your leader, Mike Perry, pulling away from Andrew Miraz. And that's the number 60 car ahead of him. That's Brian Rainville. He's going wide, lets the leader by. There's no point in racing the leaders, but it does help to pick up a little bit of that draft on the backstretch. Tugging behind there, bud. So Rainville behind the leader here. That's not for position. Oh, and it looks like something happened to Andrew Miraz. He's going into the pits. That 50% fuel is obviously giving him a lot shorter runs than we thought. It's Andrew Miraz going into the pits looking for new tires and for fuel. And it's not just Miraz, it's also Pondo Cog coming into the pits. And now we see Ryan Nicoletta there as well. Mike has stayed out in the number 2 car. He's still in the lead. It's Matt Miller now in second and Jason Branch in third. And as we say that, Jason's coming into the pits as well. Another round of green flag pit stop. Jordan Berry picks up third position because of it. Wilson in fourth, Moore in fifth. And let's see if we can find Andrew Miraz. He's leaving the pits here. He's shown in 17th position. He's coming out behind Andrew Moore, so a pit stop under green costs you a little bit more than a lap. And the 57 of Adam Patet is right behind him. Adam is running into 5th spot right now, and there you see the difference between fresh tires and old tires. He's just going by Andrew Moore like he's standing still. Now he's going to come and catch up to the number 18, and the number 18, that is Avery Wilson. Looks like Patet is passing Andrew Moore in the background here, and Mike Perry is coming into pit along with Matt Miller. And that means that the 57 of Adam Patet is picking up the lead here for now. Miller in his pit box here. Ooh, a little bit of a wiggle coming to a stop. Tires on the right. Moore is now in the pits. Perry is leaving the pits already. So Perry picks up quite a bit of distance from Matt Miller. Matt Miller is coming out of the pits now as well. There you have them. It's Indiana Wise currently in the lead, but he still has to pit. Jason Nicholas picks up the 2nd spot. Adam Patet and Sean Dias are into the pit right now. And that tells me that Andrew Miraz has done good work in the pits. He's going to pick up that lead again from Mike Perry. Once Indiana and Jason get into the pits, they will be... There you go. Indiana Wise is going in. Ooh, he also almost loses it under braking. Only 45 miles an hour speed pit limit. Pit speed limit. I apologize. Indiana in the pits now. Jason Nicholas in the pits. And that means that Andrew Miraz is picking up the lead right now. in front of Mike Perry, and there's 2 seconds, no less, between these two. That means that Andrew Mraz had a way better pit stop than Mike. I'm not sure about this. I didn't see it, but it's possible that Andrew did that just by getting 2 tires instead of 4. And if you only change the outside, it'll give you a little bit of a disadvantage, but you gain a lot of speed on the pit stop, obviously. So Perry has a little bit of work to do. Then second behind Perry, it's Kurt Rittenberg. And Jason Branch has come out right behind Rittenberg. And he's coming underneath now. Coming onto the backstretch, he's going to be picking up that 3rd position going into turn 3. So that kind of restores the order. Mraz, Perry, and Branch is your top 3 drivers. Kurt Rittenberg is in 4th. Matt Miller is in 5th. David Anderson is in 6th now. Jeremy Rittenberg is in 7th. Avery Wilson moved up to 8th. Jordan Berry is 9th. And Andrew Moore has dropped back to the 10th position. Let's bring her back up here to Andrew Mraz. And it does look like that advantage is shrinking quite rapidly. It's only 1.3 seconds now, and it was 2. So let's keep an eye here on Mike Perry trying to gain on Andrew Mraz. Jason Branch is about a 1.6 behind Perry, and he's not gaining all that much right now. But it looks to me like Mike Perry is reeling in Andrew Mraz. We're on lap 71 already, getting into the closing stages of this race. Let's bring up some statistics here. Mraz is in 1st with 1.1 seconds ahead of Perry. Branch is in 3rd with 1.7 seconds behind Perry. So you can tell on the right bottom of your screen there that Mraz is losing his advantage over Perry. Perry is reeling him in little by little. There you have him. You can see the gap getting smaller. You can see the gap coming down now to 0.45. Perry will be picking up some draft on the straights. The closer he gets, the more he gets into dirty air, but that can help his top speed. He just has to be careful on the turns. There you have it. Mike Perry caught up with Andrew Mraz. If Mraz took only 2 tires, he's paying for it now. Going into lap 75 when we come off 3 and 4. Perry is already looking. He looks like he's faster and looks like he's a little bit stronger here. Coming on to turn 1. He's still tugged in behind that 028. There you go. Looks like he's pushing Mraz even. Got to be careful on the turns for that. But it might be a way to work together a little bit and get some distance on Jason Branch. It seems to be working because Jason Branch is now over 2 seconds behind Perry. Let's bring her back up front here. This is the fight for the lead. And there you go. It's Mike Perry bringing it underneath Mraz's 028 into turn 3. And it looks like Mike Perry picks up the lead fairly easy here. Mraz has no choice but to just tug in behind the number 2 car. Coming into the tri-oval, starting lap 77, it is Mike Perry that picks up the lead. Andrew Mraz is in 2nd, and it almost sounded like we had somebody scraping the wall there, but not really sure if that was true. So Perry puts a couple of car lengths on Mraz right away, and it kind of tells me that My guess of him taking 2 tires only may have been correct. If we get a chance after the race, we can ask him about it. I'm fairly certain that that 50% fuel capacity is going to lead to more pit stop before we're done. Because as fast as they've been pitting, I can't really believe they're going to make it to the end on fuel already. We have Kevin Nicoletta going into the pits in the 41 car. He's shown in 19th position. Okay, let's check on your third place car here. That's Jason Branch. And it does look like Jason Branch is gaining on Miraz a little bit. He's got Matt Miller behind him in the 4th spot. Then in the 5th spot, we have the 00 of Kurt Rittenberg. In 6th, it's David Anderson. It looks like David is getting in trouble here. What's going on? That's the 011 going into the pits. He made a bit of a weird move there. Avery Wilson got by now. He's in 6th now with Jordan Berry running behind him in 7th. Adam Patet in the 57 car is 8th. Then it's Andrew Moore, and Andrew Moore is in 9th. And then it's Eric Miller in 10th. And the car in between Moore and Patet is a back marker. And that looks like... that's Randy Bledsoe. Mike Perry still in the lead. 1.6 seconds ahead of Miraz now. Miraz is losing his advantage on Jason Branch. It's gone down from over 2 seconds to, what is it now? Looks like Mike Perry is already taken to the pits here. Miraz picks that lead back up. We're on lap 82. And that could be their last pit stop, if I'm not mistaken. 20 laps should be doable. So Miraz is the first one of the leaders going into the pits. I'm sorry, Mike Perry is the first one going into the pits. Jordan Berry is in the pits. There you have him. Then it's Ryan Nicoletta coming into the pits. Mike Perry is leaving right now, and he's shown in 7th position. Avery Wilson picks up the lead as Miraz, Jason Branch, Eric Miller, and Randy Perdue are going in. There you have Miraz. Tires on the outside. Tires on the inside this time. Same for Jason Branch behind him. And it looks like that's... can't see who that is. Perry is already in 4th now. Andrew Moore is shown in 2nd. And Perry picks up 3rd position now as Eric Miller goes into the pits. Avery Wilson still needs to pit in the 18 car. Pit at last on lap 65, so did Andrew Moore, so they'll be going in shortly. There you go. And let's check on Andrew Moore here. Still staying out. That means he picks up the lead. Mike Perry currently shown in 3rd position. Avery Wilson in the pits. There you have him, and that means that Mike is going to pick up 2nd spot here in just a few instants. There you have it.
The yellow flag is out.
And we have a yellow, and that is good news for Andrew Moore because it means that his lead is not going to be hurt so much by the pit stops. That may be good news for him. In fact, Mike Perry is 26 seconds behind him. Let's see how this plays out because I think Mike Perry is almost a lap behind, or maybe even a lap behind. Not really sure. Well, maybe not. In any case, it's Andrew Moore going into the pits right now. Under yellow. The others have just pitted, so I would be surprised if anybody else comes in. We have Kurt Rittenberg in the pits here. But it'll be interesting to see where Moore comes out, because he is the only one of the lead group, more or less, that is pitting under yellow right now, and everybody else has been in the pits under green. Miraz is back in the pits. It looks like he is going to top that thing off anyway. So he's not sure about his fuel, and he may not be so sure about his tires either. I don't think he'll be taking tires. He is taking tires. That's a little unusual because he's just done a couple of laps on those tires. But left and right, he's getting new tires and he's getting fuel. And let's see how this is all playing out here at the lead. Mike Perry is shown as your leader, but where is he? There he is, the STP car in the middle of your screen. So he's got quite a few back markers in front of him. And then there's a back marker between him and Matt Miller. Let me see who that is. That looks like Sean Dias. 78 of Miller is in second. And then there's Ryan Nicoletta. He's a lap down. The 22 of Jason Branch is in third. Avery Wilson is in fourth, but it's David Dolliver in the 23 in between there, and he's going into the pits right now. Looks like Avery's going into the pits, and that brings Moore back into fourth position. Matt Miller is going into the pits as well. That means that Andrew Moore is going to be picking up third position here with that yellow pit stop, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. If the green flag pit stops cost you more than a lap, so if you get the opportunity to pit under yellow when the others have already done so under green, you're going to gain. Mike Perry is your leader. Jason Branch is your second place driver in the Navy car there. There he is, and Mike Perry is your leader. A bunch of cars will be waved around before we go green. And I do believe that Indiana Wise is among those that are in front of the leader currently. Indiana Wise is currently shown in 21st position, and he is the first car behind the pace car. So behind him, it is Jeremy Rittenberg. He's in 9th, so he's going to go. So he's a lap down, or almost a lap down. Then it's Jordan Berry, Randy Perdue, Adam Patet, Eric Miller, Kevin Nicoletta, and then it's your leader. So a bunch of cars will be waved around and stay on the lead lap that way. We're talking lap 88 going into 89. That means 12 more laps to go. We're getting close. See if we can see the lights on the pace car. Looks like they're still on. So by the time we get the green flag, we're probably looking at 10 more laps of racing. Well, we got a good field tonight, that's for sure. We have 26 drivers that took the start. And it looks like 4 of them are out. Rittenberg, Rainville, and Stewart and Co. And it tells me that Fair is also out. Let's pick up Indiana Wise here, see if he gets the wave around. Those lights are still on. They should be going off right now. There you have it. The guys go around. And Mike Perry is opting for the inside. Jason Branch will be alongside. Then it'll be Andrew Mraz in third. And I do believe that Andrew will have to take the inside. I'm not sure about that. Then it's Andrew Moore. Oh, Andrew Moore is in third. Andrew Mraz is in fourth. They're just not in the correct position right now. But it was Moore in third. Then it's Avery Wilson, Jason Nicholas, Matt Miller, David Anderson. Jordan Berry in 10th. Randy Perdue working his way back up to 11th. And let's check out your leader here, warming up his tires. We'll have 10 laps to go. It looks like the leader in the championship, Mike Perry, is doing some good work here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. And looks like the target car is going into the pits. Let's stay with the leaders here. Mike Perry gets a good jump on Jason Branch for that lead. Andrew Mraz picks up third position from Andrew Moore right away. Moore in fourth. Avery Wilson in fifth. Jason Nicholas a little bit further back in the 202 car. Let's stay with the leaders here. Mraz is right behind Jason Branch. And it looks like Andrew Moore is coming under attack of Avery Wilson here. He's hanging on to that 4 spot, but the 18 car is on his outside. Obviously, with this short distance to go, this battle's going to heat up. Mraz has already picked up second position from the Navy car now. And it looks like Moore is, and Branch is nosing ahead on that higher line. And Andrew Moore in the Pennzoil car is getting underneath the 22 now to pick up third position. Pick that back up, we should say. The 22 and the 18 fighting for that 4th and 5th position now. Jason Branch hanging on to 4th. And 18 can't get past him. He tucks in right behind. Let's check on Andrew Mraz and the leader, Mike Perry. Ooh, good group of cars here, all on fresh tires, so this is going to be a good battle here. Mike Perry hangs on to the lead. Andrew Mraz in second. It's Andrew Moore in the 3rd spot. Jason Branch trying something on the high side, it looked like. And the 18th running a little high there. The 78 of Matt Miller is going to interfere in this thing as well. He's come on to the back end of this group here. Oh, and it looks on the lead here. Mike Perry defending hard against Andrew Mraz. And it looks like Andrew Moore picks up a little bit of ground there because of that. Moore now coming to the inside. No, not close enough. Perry still in the lead. And it looks like, once again, Jason Branch is getting caught out on that high side. We've seen that before. Mike Perry in the lead. Oh, look at that. Mraz was trying to dive to that inside, but there was no room. He's right behind him now. Andrew Moore hanging with these top 2 guys. Ooh, and it looks like Perry is keeping that inside line covered. He does not want to get that out 28 underneath him. Onto the backstretch, even staying in the middle there. He does not want to have anybody underneath him right now. And he's hanging on to it very good. Mike Perry, your leader. Andrew Mraz in second. Andrew Moore in third. Avery Wilson in fourth now. Matt Miller in fifth. Let's stay up here with the 2 leaders. A little bit of side-by-side shuffling there, trying to find a good line. Ooh, and now it looks like Mike Perry is running high, and it's both Miraz and Moore getting underneath him. The 18 trying to come along with him. And it looks like Andrew Moore picks up the lead here in front of Andrew Miraz. Great move. And then it's Avery Wilson in third. It's Mike Perry dropping to fourth position in one lap. The 18 gets underneath Miraz now for second position. Lap 98. Can Andrew Moore hang on to that lead to the end? It's Wilson right behind him. Miraz in third now. And it looks like Perry is coming underneath Miraz, and so is Matt Miller. 3 wide into turn 3 and 4. It's going wrong in the back there for Mike Perry. Oh, that is so unfortunate. Yellow flag is out. Let's find out what happened exactly. They're fighting for a position here. It's 3 wide. Miraz, Miller, and Perry. Perry gets a little bit off balance with a little tap from the 78, and then it's the 22 that runs in the back of him, it looks like. Let's bring it back once more. A little bit of pushing and shoving going on. Let's slow that down for you here. It looks like the 78. The 78 just barely, it looks like it's net code even. It's not sure, it's not clear if they really touch, but it puts the 2 a little bit off balance, and the 22, because the 2 slows down a little bit, it's the 22 tapping that back end of the number 2 car. Mike Perry backwards into the wall, and it looks like the 22 of Branch also got caught out there. Let's see if we are, we gotta speed things up again. And it looks like Perry is running, drop back to 7th position. We're gonna see a green white checkered, and he might be thinking it's not worth my while to go into the pits. Let's see where Branch has ended up. Jason Branch is in the pit. And I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get going again. It doesn't look like it was too bad. So Mike Perry stayed out there with a damaged car. We'll keep an eye on him and see what he does when we get by the pit lane entrance. But there's not much to gain from a pit stop anymore. That car may not be its quickest anymore, but going into the pit will put him in the back of the line and way out of contention anyway. So he might be thinking to just stay out here and salvage what he can salvage. Jason Branch is in the pit, and it does not look like he's coming back out. And Mike is staying out, it looks like. Yeah, he's not coming in. So, up front, it is Andrew Moore up front, and it'll be a green-white checkered, so 2 laps racing. He'll have Avery Wilson to worry about. Matt Miller is in third, so he picked up a spot right there in that final battle, side by side. Then it's Andrew Miraz in fourth. Jason Nicholas is in 5th in the 202 car. Kind of quietly worked his way up, it looks like. Maybe he had some good pit stops there as well, I believe. David Anderson in 6th. Mike Perry in 7th, hanging in there. Randy Perdue, he looks like he's on the apron, maybe thinking about going in. There might be a problem with him. We have Eric Miller in 10th and Jeremy Rittenberg in 11th. Adam Patet is in 12th. That's the green and black car you see there. Kevin Nicoletta in the white car. And then it's Sean Dias in the 87. Catching up to the field, Ryan Nicoletta in the police car there. Ryan Bledsoe in the red and black car, and he's right behind the number 7 car of Mike Perry, the number 2 in the 7th spot, I should say. And it looks to me like, yeah, Jason Branch did come out, and he still had that fast repair, it looks like. So the only thing that took so long was the tow, and now it looks like Perry is going in. Maybe he forgot about his faster pair. That's interesting. Let's see if he does have that faster pair left. No, it does not look like it. And he drops down in the order to 14th position. He goes back out. Oh, he wasn't in his pit stall. Now he's getting tires. He wasn't in his pit stall. Alright, so the guys up front are lining them up. It looks like the lights are still on, so they should be going out next time by. Andrew Moore has got a challenge behind him, that's for sure. But he did pretty good bringing it up front. He lucked out a little bit with that pit stop under yellow, and he's got everything to fight for right now. But as the leader, obviously on speedways like this, sometimes you're just a sitting duck for the people behind you. Miraz is getting eager to go, it looks like. So Moore on the inside, Wilson on the outside in the 18 car. Then it'll be Matt Miller and Andrew Miraz. Jason Nicholas in the 202. Quietly worked his way up to the front. David Anderson in the 011 is in 6th. Perdue and Barry are on the 4th row, with Barry on the inside. I'm fairly sure there's going to be some sweaty palms up front there, because this will be it. Green, white, checkered. It's going to decide the race here in Texas tonight. There's only 4 Toyotas in this race, and 2 of them are up front. And that's Moore and Wilson. The quiet before the storm. The pace truck will be going down into the pit lane. And then it's up to Moore to get this final stint, this final dash for the cash going. There he goes. He's on his way. He's got a good start. Good start. But it's the 18 of Wilson and the 78 of Miller and then the 028 of Miraz right behind him. What can Andrew Moore do to keep them behind him? Wilson is looking very strong, tugging in behind the leader here. It looks like, it looks like Moore is on the apron even, trying to stay low and cover that inside line. The 18 cannot go around. Miraz is running wide. He's going to lose some spots here. Can the 18 get underneath? He's 2 wheels in the grass to try to get that nose underneath, and it's Moore hanging on to the lead. Wilson in 2nd, Matt Miller in 3rd. Can he get underneath there? It looks like he's got the speed, but he doesn't have the line. Moore hangs on to the inside line here. Wilson trying a little bit on the high side. Miller loses out to Anderson, the 011 here. Oh, we have an issue right behind him. There's a car crashing right behind him there. But the finish has been passed, so the results will stand. The yellow does not come out. We can try and find out if we can. Oh, it's the 202 that got in trouble here. Let's bring that back for you. This is the final lap with Moore in front. The guys fighting in front. The 202 is the car that gets into trouble. It's Miraz tapping him on the quarter panel there, trying to get underneath him. The 202 looks out, and then it looks like Bledsoe runs into him. It's Andrew Moore picking up the win. There you have it. That's the replay after they have finished. So let's bring that finish back for you once again. And And that is a happy Andrew Moore picking up a win here at the Texas Motor Speedway, running some donuts. Burn that rubber. It's Avery Wilson in the second spot. Let's bring up those official results here for you. Meanwhile, Moore is having a little fun out there. He deserves it. And your final results are on screen as we speak. There is Andrew Moore Jr. in the 77, picks up the win, 800ths of a second behind him. It's Avery Wilson in second. It's David Anderson that brings that 011 to the third spot in front of Matt Miller. Andrew Mraz, we saw him touch the 202 car there on the final lap. Jordan Berry picks up sixth position. Adam Patet is seventh. Eric Miller is eighth. Jeremy Rittenberg ninth. And Kevin Nicoletta rounds out your top 10. And let's go see if we can find some people to talk to. Where am I at? Andrew, this is Mark in the booth. Can you hear me?
How you doing, Mark? Yep.
Andrew, you had quite a race here tonight. You had some issues in the beginning. You were trying to hang with those leaders pretty much all race long, and it looked like you were dropping back a little bit throughout the race, and now and again. And then all of a sudden, you get a little bit of luck with the green, with most of the leaders pitting under green and you pitting under yellow. Is that what was that your lucky break, sir?
That was my lucky break. The reason why I went a little slower was I only changed two tires on my first pit stop there, and it really slowed me down.
Yeah, that's hard for us to notice, but I've thought about other people. It looked to me like Andrew Perez did the same thing, and he dropped back as well. Went in early for his next pit stop, so taking two tires didn't work, huh?
Yeah, it didn't work. There wasn't much tire wear, but it really affected the turn one, which that's the tricky turn on this track.
Yeah, I noticed like especially during qualifying, there was a lot of people getting into trouble coming off of turn two onto the backstretch, and
Yep,
just
and that is the secret to this track:
yeah, yeah.
getting into turn one right and getting off of turn two right.
There you go. So talk me through those final laps there, because it looked to me like Avery Wilson was trying extremely hard to get underneath you, and you covered that inside line pretty good.
Yeah, basically my eyes were glued to the rear view mirror the whole time. I was matching anything he was going to do. I saw he was going to hit me, so I corrected before he even hit me.
Oh wow, that is cool, man. You were staying on top of things there for sure. He went through the
Yeah, as long as you hold the inside line, and I think I had a few laps because of that caution. I had a few extra laps on my tires than most other people did.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely you pitted on under yellow probably 2 or 3 laps later than most of the guys that you were racing right there. So that may have
True.
helped a little
Three
bit.
more laps, and I would have had to pit under green.
Yeah. Well, once again, Andrew, congratulations, man. It was a lot of fun to watch that finale here. That was just something else. That was really good racing, and I'm glad you made it. Is this your first win this year?
This is, I mean, besides general matchmaking, this is my first league and my first season. So I want to thank the Wises for inviting me on here, and a big shout out to any of my family who are watching.
Awesome, man. Anybody else you want to think of thanking or shouting out to?
Sure. My teammates, Kevin and Ryan, we had a good chat before the race like we always do, and I think it helped for the better.
Awesome, Andrew. And once again, congratulations. It was awesome to watch, and sometimes you just need a lucky break a little bit here and there, but that's all part of racing, and you made the best of it. Well done.
Absolutely. My first win was a little bit of a lucky break, but I have a good one, Mark, and thanks for broadcasting.
Thank you, man. David, this is Mark in the booth. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Now I can. Yes, sir. David, you were kind of let me just say, a little bit quiet hanging in that lead group in the first part of the race. You were in the tail end of that second group, I believe. I've seen you work your way up from fighting with Jordan Berry all the way up to the front, and then here in this grand finale of things, you come out on the third spot. Talk me through that, sir.
So the second to the last caution, I got the lucky dog because we were all pitting at different times, and I got the lucky dog but on the restart, I got put behind all the lap cars, and so I kind of took me out of it. So and then we had the caution again, and I got put up, in sixth place, and I had a great opportunity, because I knew I had fresh right tires, and my lefts were still really good. So I knew I had pretty good tires, and I knew I was going to be, at least having a chance there at the end. And man, just I came off turn two and got that blue and white car. I knew I was going to be faster than him going down the straight, and I went high, and he kind of came up a little bit, and I dropped down to the inside real quick and got to the inside of him coming into three, and just enough to get third. I wish we could have had a little bit longer run there. I think I would have had something for those guys. I was kind of holding back the whole race, and I didn't know the rules. It was the first time I've raced with these guys, and I've been in the league all year, but I've had internet problems. I couldn't race. I thought at lap 30 and 60 we were going to have a caution um, for the stages, and we didn't have them, and so
Yeah.
I was racing way too hard early on in those runs, thinking that I'm going to get fresh tires pretty soon. Damn it, we're not stopping.
Yeah. This is one of the few leagues where they don't throw a caution for those stages. So yeah, you lucked out. Well, for your first race, this is a very good result to come home with. I can tell you that. You passed Matt Miller pretty much on on a good choice of the lane there, and it looked to me like Andrew Mraz was somehow drifting up really high there and completely lucking out on I think this on the on the final lap there. Did you see what happened to him?
No, I think you're right, though. I think he just drifted up. Maybe he didn't have fresh tires, and he was just working them a little too hard. But yeah, like I said, I probably had the best tires there at the end, and just couldn't get myself up to those first two cars. They were a little too tough for me. But yeah, overall, I'd say it was a pretty good race. Pretty happy with it.
Absolutely, I don't blame you. Anybody who want to throw some thank yous and love yous out for tonight, David?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody involved with running the Blown Piston Racing League. It's been, that was a fun race. I raced with them last week. I think it was last week in a multi-league race or something.
Yep.
Had a little bit of trouble there, but it's always fun. Thank you for broadcasting. I've watched your broadcasts, so I appreciate you. And Pondo Co, who I was running with tonight, but he had just every time he had to go into the pits, he had some sort of problem, so he just backed out. But yeah, that's it.
All right. Thanks very much, David. Once again, congratulations on a well-deserved third position. First time in the league actively running, so that's a good thing to take away. Thanks very much.
Mark.
All right, folks. I'm trying to see if I can find Avery Wilson, but I don't see him in any of these rooms here.
No, I guess he didn't have Discord, by the way.
Well, that's too bad because I would have liked to hear from him. He gave that a hard fight for the lead and didn't work. So just by 800ths of a second position, that's still pretty good.
Watching that was a pretty good little battle there.
Absolutely. Well, let me see if I can talk to Andrew. Andrew, this is Mark in the booth. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It looked like you were in the fight for the lead pretty much the entire race, and then what was it, the last lap or the second to last lap, you washed up high, and I couldn't really see why that happened. Did you get touched by Miller, or what happened there?
I just pushed it a little too hard and just overdrove the tires pretty much. The tires lost grip, and so the lateral forces wanted me to go to the outside even more. I had to check up and give up the position. but it was a tough race. Led about 50 laps here at Texas, and it was a pretty good race, top 5 finish.
So after I think mid race or something in that area, like 50 to 60 or that area there, it looked to me like you were struggling. Also, was that because you only took 2 tires?
No, I took 4 every single time. It was the track changed, and I didn't have the setup prepared for it at all. It just felt really loose. I tried changing my brake bias, hoping that the fronts would grab a little bit without touching the brake, but it never tightened up at all. It just kept getting loose on corner entry, and so I had to back up a little bit further than I wanted to.
I see. So basically, early in the stints, you were all right, and then the further the tires would wear off, you'd get in trouble.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I just wondered about it. I couldn't find Avery Wilson, so I figured might as well find you to talk to really quickly. We enjoyed you. We enjoyed the race, man. You were up there. You were running pretty strong compared to the others most of the time, and unfortunately at the end it wasn't enough. It was a good win for Andrew Moore. Thanks again, Andrew. I'm sure we'll talk to you next time.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
All right, folks, there you have it. We couldn't find Avery here to talk to. It looks like he's not on Discord. We heard from the Andrew Moore here. Lucked out a little bit with that pit stop, and then fought for it really hard in that finale. Brought it home 800ths of a second before Avery Wilson did. David Anderson is third, Matt Miller is fourth, and Andrew Mraz, we just heard from him, he finishes in fifth position. That'll do it for tonight here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Next week we will be going to North Wilkesboro with the Blown Piston League. We hope to see you there, same time, different place. This is Short Shift Broadcasting. My name is Mark, and we bid you good night, and thank you for tuning in.